Rachel here. Welcome to my Slow TV Stitchery. Well, good morning everybody. You find me at my frame a little later in the day than perhaps I had intended, which may do strange things to the lighting, but then we're accustomed to that, aren't we? That said, it is nice to see something which resembles sunshine. And I've moved on from the Paleolithic to the Norman Conquest. If you feel that I'm careering through history in a somewhat cavalier manner, I am. I have been spending a lot more time than usual on non-fiction for quite a few years now, and it goes in fits and starts as to what I find interesting and choose to find books for. My aim is always to find a book that I think I can read at least twice, preferably more often than that, and that means it has to be about something I'm interested in. Although in truth, it's amazing what you can be interested in if the person writing about it is passionately interested and knows how to write. There are books about subjects I'm not really myself that interested in that I read purely because the writer is so enthusiastic. And it's just a delight. And at the moment, it's a book by Alison Weir about the Queens of the Conquest. Now, I haven't quite twigged how many of them were called Mathilda, which is to say all of them apart from Adeliza of Louvain, who didn't last very long, I don't think. And we all know of William and Matilda, but Henry I's queen was called Matilda, and so was his daughter, and so was King Stephen's wife, also a Matilda. Keeping these Matildas straight is what my mathematical friends refer to as non-trivial. But it's certainly interesting, and it's always fascinating what can be read when historians start using primary sources which are not just accounts written by people with whatever idea they may have in mind, the politics of their own time. But if you start looking at pipe rolls, at charters, you can get a good guess as to where the king or the queen sealed or issued a charter, and you can get some sense of who else was visiting them at the time, because sometimes they witnessed the charter as well. So suddenly you have other sources than somebody essentially writing a synthesis 100 years later, which they probably didn't think to look at. So I'm rather enjoying finding out about what they did and how they did it and how they influenced policy and politics. So it's all rather interesting. There is something to think about now, is the presentation of the angel when I've finally finished her. Because golds are actually very difficult to mount and display in anything resembling a satisfactory fashion. It's amazing how often you want to echo a gold in a mount or a frame, and yet the gold is the wrong colour of gold, or there's a tint in the frame or something else. So I am giving some thought to this at the moment. I'm even wondering whether it really should go in a frame at all, I wonder whether I can mount it on a curve so that I can stand my angel behind the crib. You may recall that the original starting point was a whole choir of angels to set behind the crib, and being slightly flawed by the design and not being quite sure how to bring it to life, I had decided that I would do just one angel and see how it went, and think about the larger design as I was doing the little one. Well, of course, the little one is not as little as all that, because my projects are never small. But I wonder if I can mount her on a cylinder or something in some way, so as to stand up and stand at the back of the crib. And the gold isn't the heavenly host, but maybe it can stand for the idea of many voices together, as there are many cells in the design. Still trying to work out the idea of upholstering a drain pipe or something. So because I think a curve would go more happily with the crib figures as much as anything else. I suppose I could create a box, but I can't help feeling that the curve would be more interesting and it would sit more happily with crib figures. I do find myself wondering what Uncle John would make of the canvas work angel to go with the crib figures he bought in Bavaria. But my recollection of my elderly relatives is that by and large they all thought their descendants and collateral descendants were absolutely delightful, and so pretty much anything I do would probably be all right with Uncle John. And I do know how fortunate I am in that. I am intending to keep working on this until it's finished now, rather than stopping work on it because Christmas angels and spring seem poorly suited to one another. I'm just going to carry on. I'll do something else probably between Christmas and Epiphany. I have a little kit from Au Verre à Soie that I intend to have as my Christmas holiday project. It's a Trish Burr design of an ostrich in surface embroidery, and I thought he looked very sweet and would be something small and gently frivolous to work on, while some of the larger ideas that I have knock around in my head over the Christmas period. Because I have a lot of fairly large scale thinking to do about future projects. Not to mention planning for how I'm going to mount and finish all the Amana designs, which now they're done, I need to do something else with. A knot there. What's happened? What? So anyway, while I'm doing some big thinking, I thought it would be nice to do some stitching that gave me the opportunity to follow instructions for a change. course, I am aware that the idea of me following instructions is liable to produce hollow laughter among those who know me, but we'll see how it goes, shall we? I can but try. One of the things I think I may do when I do get around to mounting this is to mount it over some gold fabric. It will help to reduce the effect of some of the big needle holes. And produce a more consistent background. At least I hope so. We all know about the gap between plans and what actually happens.
That's all for this session. I hope you enjoyed following along. Happy stitching!